Federal assistance was supposed to go into effect about an hour ago.
That won't be happening now. That's after a federal judge did temporarily block it late this afternoon. It comes after a memo from the White House Budget Office calling for the freeze. Jacob Albrock looks at what we know right now, what it all means, and has a reaction. Jacob?
Developing all day long, Mike. So right now, as for what it means, a lot of unknowns for a lot of different organizations, many trying to understand the potential impact this could have. So this recent judge's order here this evening, though, it takes place just as that freeze was set to take effect, blocking it until Monday. The White House notes that $3 trillion was spent in 2024 on federal assistance programs. The memo sent last night orders all federal agencies to assess their programs and activities to ensure they comply with the president's recent executive orders, directing assistance to be temporarily frozen while they do that. The White House did clarify this afternoon that it's not a blanket pause and it doesn't affect federal assistance and grant programs.
Individual assistance, that includes, I'm not naming everything that's included, but just to give you a few examples, Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, food stamps, welfare benefits, assistance that is going directly to individuals will not be impacted by this pause.
Also of note, the U.S. Department of Education says direct student loans and Pell Grants would also not be stopped if there is a pause. Several organizations are scrambling, though. Head Start, which provides preschool funding for low-income children, said the memo has the potential to severely disrupt the ability for Head Start programs to serve nearly 800,000 children and their families nationwide. Meals on Wheels said today that they're trying to figure out how it affects them, saying if, in fact, the order includes the Older Americans Act, this would presumably halt service to millions of vulnerable seniors who have no other means of purchasing or preparing meals. As we said, a federal judge has temporarily blocked the freeze on these grants and loans just minutes before it was set to go into effect. That freeze paused until Monday. Hopefully, Mike, we can get some more information on what exact programs this would affect.
Jacob, thank you. Yeah, still a lot of questions this afternoon. We did get a statement from Governor Kelly's office on this funding freeze. It says we're evaluating the new directive from the Trump administration to understand the impact this memo could have on state programs. A spokesperson for the city of Wichita echoing a similar statement, saying we are currently evaluating what impact, if any, the last night's order to pause all federal grants and loans could have on services and projects here in Wichita. We await further information from the federal government at this time.